Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangle.
Well, welcome to episode number 63 of the Monday Money Tip Podcast. My name is Joseph Sangle, fired up to be able to help you say, I was broke, past tense. Now I'm not. It's always great to say I was broke instead of I is broke. And so I want to welcome in my co-host, Megan Hibbard. How are you doing today? Are you fired up?
Good.
Yes.
Doing great.
We've been sitting here in the studio getting everything set up to record this episode, and we had a delay due to sardines. Isn't that awesome?
Ugh.
And I ate sardines. I love sardines. I don't know how many of our listeners eat sardines and how many would be grossed out by them. But
They're weird.
they are weird, but I love them. For some reason, it's really weird.
What else is weird is, I thought the other day, is Vienna sausage.
Yeah.
That's weird too.
But I would think that's weird. And I realize this because what you're exposed to as a kid is normal. You think that's normal. And so we ate sardines as kids. And so it was normal.
ate Vienna
But we didn't eat.
sausage.
You ate those. So you
But
think
now
it's
I don't
normal.
eat it. I don't
now
know.
You don't. Now you know what it's made out of. But nothing against Vienna sausages. I'm sure they're great. But I'm so excited for today's episode. It is a great topic, one that can help people literally save thousands of dollars. That is not hyperbole. That is the absolute truth. And so I want to make sure everybody listens in today. Even if it doesn't apply to you, there's a good chance this applies to a friend or a family member or a coworker, colleague. So listen up. What do we want to talk about today?
Today we are talking about 0% credit card. 0% balance transfer credit cards, to be precise.
Yes.
So our question is, I receive 0% credit card balance transfer offers, that's a mouthful, in the mail all the time. How do these work, and are they too good to be true?
There's a fast answer to that. Are they too good to be true? No, they're not too good to be true. They actually exist.
Yep.
They do work. We'll show you how they do in just a minute. But first, we're going to go into one of my favorite segments of the podcast. We know what time that is. Let's go.
Now it's time to get caught up with our current money events.
This portion of the podcast is sponsored by the I Was Broke, Now I'm Not 0% balance transfer credit card page. On this page, you can see how transferring a high-interest credit card balance can help you gain serious traction towards debt freedom date. Our topic for today's episode. For more information about today's current events relating to 0% balance transfer credit cards, be sure to visit the Next Steps 0% credit cards page at iwbnin.com. And we'll also include a link in the show notes to that. So you
That's
can get
awesome.
to it quick and easy.
So it's a very relevant sponsor. And so we sponsor our own podcast. It's great. But if you want to be a sponsor of the podcast, you can contact us as well through info@iwbnin.com. We're actually looking to move into sponsors for the year 2020.
Yes.
It's part of our vision for 2020. Get it? 2020
Vision.
Yeah. But for today's current money events section, I'm excited to talk about where the major indices are for investments. And these are as of the day that we're recording the podcast. And as you were updating them, they were changing.
It's so hard to update
It's
them.
ever changing every single minute of the trading floor day, 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the markets are trading. And the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, and the S&P 500 and the Russell 2000 index. There's a lot of different indexes. There's the FTSE, there's the Hang Seng, and all the different ones around the world. But we're going to talk about the ones that are measured and the more common ones in the U.S. And so we're excited to share the numbers. Let's share them.
Yes.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average is at 26,322. It's kind of ran up and ran down. It's about 2% off of its all-time highs as of today. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Chinese tariffs are continuing to weigh a lot of companies. We also know that in interest rates, the Federal Reserve has lowered interest rates by a quarter point, which if you go listen to a year ago episodes, I was saying there's no way rates are going to go down, which means Joe Sangle can be wrong. And that is the truth. Yeah, it's terrible. But you know what? It's just one of those things that when you look at finances, this is why we say it's important to understand that money is a journey, not just a moment.
Right.
Things change. And money is a game. It's got rules. And if you don't know the rules and you don't know the game, it can what you don't know can hurt you.
Yeah.
That's why we review these numbers. And so the NASDAQ, it's at 79.65. S&P 500 is 29.32, very near its high. The Russell 2000 is at 14.82. And so that's super important to understand what's happening with your investments. And one of the important things to think about in today's current money event section is to talk about the fact that if you're a long-term investor, you really don't even feel the effects of stuff going up and down. Mm-hmm. It is the people that do day trading, the people that run in and out of the markets, they're the ones that hang on every single movement of these numbers. And short-term markets are driven by emotion and facts. Long-term, it's ran by facts alone. And that's why long-term investing works a lot better.
Right.
There's been moments, think about this, in the end of last year when the market dropped over 20%, where you think about that and you're like, my goodness, that is a massive drop. We lost 20% of our investments. But if you're not paying attention to this and you're a long-term investor, you know what? It recovered over the first couple months of 2019. If you didn't pay attention daily, you would never even know that happened. Mm-hmm. And that's where Dave Ramsey said, I love how he said it, the only people that get injured on a roller coaster ride is those who jump off in the middle. And so you want to make sure you're there for the long haul. And I just want to remind everybody of the rules of investing. If you've got money that you don't need for 5 years, that's eligible for investing. Mm-hmm. But if you think you might need it within 5 years to replace a car, home repairs, a vacation, you probably don't want to invest that money. You want to have it in safe mode in an FDIC insured savings account. Could be in a glass jar in your yard. Just don't tell your neighbors where that storage point is.
I have to go back and listen to the episode where we list the weirdest places to hide money.
Yeah, I love that. That was a lot of fun. And so one of the things that I want to share today is the fact that do you hear that? That's awesome. I'm trying to put my phone on silent.
I was like, your phone
instead
is
I put it in
not.
waterproof mode. Isn't that awesome? Welcome to the podcast where we're professionals around here. But I wanted to say that when you invest money for this long haul, people have different levels of risk they're willing to take. And so if it's market-based investments, you can know to the second what it's worth. With real estate, you don't really know to the second what it's worth. Mm-hmm. It kind of is more of a different curve of how things go up and down. But with lowering interest rates on mortgages, that is going to drive up the price of real estate. As long as unemployment remains low, people are going to have income. They're going to be wanting to upgrade their house. They will be able to pay more for the house because the vast majority of people, not the people who listen to this podcast, but the vast majority of people, they don't ask how much does it cost. They ask how much is the payment, and can I afford the payment? It's going to drive up prices because lower interest rates mean you can afford more house. But I have one very exciting thing that I want to share as a current money event on the podcast. Can I share it?
Yes.
Now, Megan knows this.
Yes.
But a new book is on the way.
Woo!
Like, for real, we're so excited about it. And at this moment, it is as we're recording this podcast, it's in the hard edit. And so if you've ever written a book, you know what that means. If you've not written a book, let me tell you what it means. It means that a person who has a degree in grammar and English and writing is currently destroying my writing. And because I'm an engineer, it needs destroyed so that it's more readable for the user and to make sure I don't repeat things, that the punctuation is correct so it flows correctly, all that stuff. And so our hope is that it will release late October, early November. Yep. Be on the lookout for it because we will have some specials and some pre-orders that are available. And with those, I'm sure we're going to offer some bonuses. So we're super excited about that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm talking about connecting your dreams to your dollars. And that's a lot of fun, is to think about not only about what are your dreams, which about 50% of people have not written down, but how to fund them. So I'm so excited about that. Be on the lookout for more information on that in the coming weeks. Fired up. And that's it for today's Current Money Events section.
All right. For our success story today, we have one from Laura. And Laura says, today I want to shout from the rooftops. I took your advice and transferred my 2 credit cards onto one new card with 15 months of 0% APR. I actually got choked up when the screen said you're approved. This was right after I called another company to apply by phone and was rejected. Your advice is making a difference to me. I've also begun to fill out a bi-weekly budget using your online tools. For years, I did this using an Excel spreadsheet, but got away from it. I also calculated my debt freedom date from your online tools, and it said 2 years. Not bad. If I follow the model of paying off one and using that money towards the other debt, guess what? I'm fired up.
And who is that?
That's Laura.
Laura. So that's incredible that, Laura, you sent that in. And Laura, I just want to point out a couple things. Number one, we celebrate with you as you shout from the rooftops. Hope you do that during the daytime hours. That'd be a little odd at night, but it's okay if you do it. Listen, when you stop being broke, you start behaving weirdly anyhow. It's awesome. But anyhow, you took the advice, transferred it to 2 credit cards into one new card at 15 months, 0% APR. And that is hugely important because now every dollar that you're making payments is going to go towards principal reduction.
Yep.
That's a huge deal to get traction. We're going to talk about that more in a minute with today's question. But the other thing is, one thing Laura stated is that for years she had been using an Excel spreadsheet, but she had gotten away from it. It is so easy to feel like you've gotten it and to walk away from habits that have helped you move forward. You forget the power of that tool after you've lived it for several months, for maybe even years. And so one of the things I just wanted to point out is how important it is that Laura has gotten back onto the wagon, so to speak, and is following that great habit that had helped her in the past, and now it's helping her again. And so I just tell everybody, she calculated her debt freedom date using our online tools, said it's only going to be 2 years till she's debt-free except for her house. That's rung 4 of the ladder. And that's super important. The average person, as we say all the time, can be debt-free in 1 to 3 years. She's right in the middle of that number. And you know what? In 2 years, we're going to hear Laura. She, instead of shouting from the rooftops, she might be shouting from the rooftops of her favorite destination somewhere around the world because she's funded a dream. And we're excited for you, Laura. Thanks so much for taking time to share your success story. This podcast and everything we do is fueled by other people winning with their money. We're fired up for you.
Yep. And she's going to call us when she's debt-free.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Fired up.
Okay, so now the moment you've all been waiting for, our question. So the question, just to remind you, is I receive 0% balance transfer credit card offers in the mail all the time. How do these work, and are they too good to be true?
Okay, so 0% balance transfer credit card offers. Let's put it in let's break that up. It is a long word. You mentioned that earlier.
It's a mouthful.
Okay, so 0% interest. What does that mean?
No interest.
No interest.
You're not paying any interest.
That's pretty
Most
awesome.
credit cards have 21, 20.
Okay.
Lots.
So 0% interest. Average credit cards 21.99,
Yeah.
26.99, and 27.99%. We see them all day long in the office.
It's
Okay?
outrageous.
So watch this. 0%. Now the next 2 words are what?
Balance transfer.
So what does that mean you've done?
You transfer your balance.
That's right. From what? From one credit card that you currently have to
the
a new
next.
one.
Yep.
And it is a credit
card.
card. So it's 3 different things. 0%, meaning no interest. Balance transfer, moving it from one card to another. And it is a credit card. Okay? So how do they work? They are not too good to be true. They are, in fact, a great way to gain traction towards eliminating high-interest credit card balances. Like, for example, let's go through an example. Suppose you have a credit card balance that you don't pay off each month. And somehow or another, life happened, and it's grown to $5,000. Now, right now, Megan is stressing because she's imagining having a $5,000 balance she has not paid off. How do you feel right now imagining?
Not good.
Not good. And so, you woke up, you have $5,000 in credit card balance, and you have nothing in savings.
I know, because in my head, I'm like, oh, we could just pay it off. But
Yeah, but you don't have savings.
no savings. So then panic mode goes up.
Some panic. And so the interest rate is 21.99% in this example. I think it's always hilarious how they do 0.99. It's kind of like gas, 209.9. Why do they do the 9/10 of a cent? You know what I'm saying? Just round it. But
it makes it seem better.
They know psychologically it seems better, but it's 21.99.
So just say 20. It's 22.
So it's 22%. And the monthly payment is currently $100 a month. It's 2% of the principal balance owed. $100 a month. Well, of that $100 payment, guess what? Only $91 goes to interest.
Not even to the payment.
91. Only 91 goes to interest. You know what that means? A whopping $9 goes to reduce your principal you owe.
How deflating each time.
How deflating. Instead of you paid $100, $5,000 is dropped down to $4,991.
Yeah.
You know what? It's easy to see why people lose heart when they're paying off credit cards with minimum payments. See, at a payment of $100 a month, if you keep making the payment of $100 a month, which the credit card company will lure you to pay less because they keep lowering the minimum payment. Watch this. But if you keep making that $100 payment, it will take you 11.4 years to pay it off. And you'll end up paying $8,656.83 in interest for a $5,000 balance.
That's not even right.
This qualifies as a yikes, yowzers, woohoo, panic, Halloween, trick or treat, and it's only tricks edition of the podcast. Get fired up. I know it's only September, but
I was about to say, we're not in October yet.
See, I've got a panic attack. I've got post-traumatic stress disorder is acting up on me from all my credit. Listen, I live this life. Only I had more than $5,000 on a credit card.
Oh.
And it had an average bank balance of $4.13. Get fired up.
So you definitely weren't
But
paying
now
off.
watch this. If you have that card and you roll that card through an online offer, and we have links on our website under the next steps area, to a 0% interest balance transfer credit card, it'll generally cost you a transfer fee of 3% of the balance. So for $5,000, that would be $150, that 3% fee, bringing your new balance to $5,150. Many people complain, I don't want to pay $150 for that. Listen, you've got $5,000 on a credit card that you're going to pay $1,100 this year in interest. So go with me, test this. Let's see. Have I helped you before on the podcast? Has Megan helped you before on the podcast? Okay, trust us. You're now to $5,150. It seems like you've taken a step back. But have you ever heard that phrase, 2 steps forward and 1 step back? The fee's a step back. But now you're getting ready to take way more than 2 steps forward. Because now the interest is what?
0.
It's 0. Now the term varies by card, and you can see the different offers on our website or through the ones you got in the mail. But it's generally between 15 and 21 months, with the most common one being 18 months. So let's choose 18 months for this example. We're going to continue making payments of $100 a month. And it only takes 1.5 months, $150, to get back from the $5,150 to the original balance of $5,000. And all the payments, get this, for the next 16 and a half months are at 0% interest. Yes.
So it's all going towards principal.
So under the original scenario of 21.99% interest, your balance after 18 months of making $100 payments, $1,800 in payments, your balance would still be $4,823.31, an improvement of only $176.69. You paid $1,800 and you only improved your balance by $176. Less than 10% of your money went to principal reduction. No wonder people give up.
Yeah.
And so under the 0% interest balance transfer credit card scenario, the balance will now be $3,350, an improvement of $1,650. Why wasn't it $1,800? Because you paid a $150 fee. That's why. So $177 versus $1,650. Megan, I have a hard question for you. Listener, I want you to ask yourself this question. See if you can get the answer before Megan. Which is better? Reducing it by $177 in 18 months or reducing it by $1,650?
It's a tough one, but I'm going to have to go with the $1,650.
$1,650. Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. This is the sardine-powered episode of the podcast, by the way. I'm saying all the fish oils are acting up. It's unbelievable. I am so fired up. But this, it is correct. $1,650 is better. I'm banging on the table. I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm so fired up. But listen, why wouldn't you do this? I really like to say it this way. Think about this. It takes about 15 minutes to apply online. Like if you type with your toes, it'll take 30 minutes. Like for real. If you typed with your toes, you could probably do the application in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And watch this. I like to look at it this way. Think of it this way. What if I told you that there was a job that paid $3,300 an hour, and the job was to type information into a computer? Would you? But here's the issue. I only had a half hour's worth of work for you to do as data entry. Would you accept that job?
Yes.
And instead only get paid $1,650 for that half hour of work? I suspect the answer would be yes. I'll take that job right now. But watch this. That's what happens when you go to work for yourself and apply for a 0% balance transfer offer when you have a high credit card balance. Because that one act, when it gets approved and you make those payments on time, you keep making the payment you're making right now, it's going to save you literally $1,650. It's unbelievable. Go do that. Work for yourself.
Yeah.
And of course, there's common questions. How good does my credit have to be? It just has to be average or decent. If your credit is terrible, TRBL, terrible, Charles Barkley out there, terrible, that's understandable. Call your current credit card company and ask them to lower their rates. The first person you talk to will laugh, And then tell them in all seriousness that you've been listening to the Monday Money Tip podcast with Joe Sangle, and that what you want to do is make sure that you're get to make traction with your credit card. Can you please speak with the manager? And when you go to meet with the manager, about 8 out of 10 times they will lower the rate a lot. Maybe not to 0%, but definitely lower it. And then the next question is, how many offers should I apply for? How many offers should I apply for? I recommend you apply for only one. You can type in, if you have multiple credit cards, you can type in every one of them, and they may accept all of them. They may accept some of them. They may reject all of them. But I would apply for one, and if you're rejected, I would continue to pay my payments on time, use a budget, and not increase your debt anymore. Stop swiping, swiper, no swiping. And then I would make sure that you apply again about 3 months later for one card. Another common question is, what if I can't pay it off in the 18-month period? Well, in month 17, roll it to another 0% balance transfer card. My bet is, though, when you see the progress you're making, you'll figure out how to pay it off in 18 months. And the big question also asked is, where do I find these types of offers? Well, you get them in the mail many times, and I also encourage you to check them out at iwasbrokenowimnot.com under the Next Steps area. As Megan has shared, that will be in the show notes as well. And you can find the offers there. And we have a link to a provider that always surfs up to the top, the best offers that are available today. And so we have a key financial quote for today. And Megan, share that with everybody.
Yep, I will. All right, our key financial quote for today is, you can either owe or own. The difference in spelling is only a single letter, but it makes a world of difference in how you live your life.
Yes, and that's so good. I mean, I remember one day I was writing those two words on the board, and that's how I kind of came up with this quote, because I realized that OW starts both of those words. Mm-hmm. The E says I owe, the N says I own. And when you have credit card balances, when you have car debt, when you have student loan debt, and you have all these different debts, you owe your mom, brother, sister, you know, it's a world of difference versus owning. And one of the things that I've said to our team is, one of the greatest gifts I can give to our team is for our companies to operate debt-free. It's one of the greatest gifts I can give, because it allows you to operate at the lowest cost of expenses. It allows you to make decisions in a very positive, productive manner. It allows you to think about opportunities and investments, and it's a wonderful thing. So I encourage you, be an owner, not an ower.
Yep. And I know you might be listening to the podcast and you might be saying, well, I have way more than $5,000 on my credit card right now. I can't do it. I'm paying more than 21.99%, but you can do it. And so you just have to take a step. So maybe today your step is going to our website and looking at the credit card offers and getting that transferred over. But don't think you've gone too far where you can't make progress, or, you know, I'll never be debt free. You gotta just take one step. So maybe today somebody needs to just take one step. So
I like that a lot.
If you take the step, let us know what it is.
Yeah.
Even if it's just applying for the card, you know, even if it's just going to our website and seeing the card options, you know, one
That's
step.
That's awesome. So in our first installment of Megan's Inspiration Corner, that was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
I like that. And so that was great. Yes, you can do this. We like to say it in the end of our book. You've noticed, and I was broke, now I'm not. It says, I believe in you, and you can do this because you can do this. And so we're super excited for that. And so that's it for the 0% balance transfer credit cards. Go do that today. That's something you can do today to make a huge difference tomorrow. And so tell everybody what we're going to talk about in the next episode, in episode number 64, if you can believe it.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this episode. So the episode is going to be how to become a millionaire. So how to become a millionaire, how to be a millionaire. So Joe's going to share some virtual ways.
Some virtually guaranteed ways.
Yeah, to become a millionaire.
Almost virtually guaranteed ways to become a millionaire.
And how he was able to go from $4.13 in his bank account to a millionaire, and you can certainly do it too. So
I don't think they want to miss that episode.
Yeah.
And that's going to release on September 23rd. Fired up. Can't believe that. It's 2 days before one of my daughter's birthdays.
End of September. It's crazy.
Get fired up.
All right. If you like today's episode, please help us get this podcast to others who could benefit. You could do this by quickly rating our podcast and leaving us a review. And these ratings and reviews will help us make our podcast better for other listeners. And don't forget, on the last Monday of the month, we're going to be answering your top money questions. So if you have any questions, make sure you email those in to info@iwbnin.com. You can email them there. You can direct message us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever your means of communication is. And then, like we were talking about before, if you implemented one of our tips, make sure you share your success story with us. And maybe your success story is just going to the website and applying for a 0% balance transfer credit card, and that is a great success. So take pride and joy in that, and let us know.
Awesome. Hey, listen, as I finish this episode, as I say, just do that one thing. If you do have a high-interest credit card, do the one thing today. Do the one thing. Apply for the 0% interest balance transfer credit card. If you have no credit card debt and you know someone who has it, do the one thing and send them this episode. That would be so hugely helpful to your friend, to your family member. Very encouraging. If you don't know anybody who has that issue, take the next step that you know you need to take with your finances. Maybe it is to go talk to HR, increase your contribution 401k. Maybe it's to go look into real estate transaction. Maybe it's to take that step to start your first business. Whatever it is, take your step today. It's Monday, and we want you to be able to have a great week when you look back on Friday and say, we made positive steps forward in our money journey. So until next episode, stay fired up, and we'll see you on Monday. Fired up.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit iwbnin.com. We'll catch you next time.